So I tried to share with you as much details as possible. I when I did the first video, I honestly didn't think I was going to get all emotional, but apparently I did. It's Mom adopting me is very special to me. Um, I loved her very much. I still love her. Just because she's gone in heaven doesn't mean that you stop loving somebody. I've been told by a couple of people, well, how can you love somebody that's dead? Well, you tell me how I could still love somebody that I never saw again. Love doesn't change. How can you? I don't understand that. The thing I told you, I'm different. I'm different, and I don't think that the way that other people think. I don't have the mindset like other people, or a normal person. I don't think I'm abnormal, but I don't think and understand the way that other people think and understand. Because to me, when you love someone, you just love them. I know that there's different loves. I had a strong love for Mom. I was very attached to her. So my adoption, yes, it's very special to me because she honored my request and putting a risk to it. And maybe Uncle Bud was okay with everything up front at first. Actually, I really don't know. But obviously, in the end, something gave, and he didn't. I don't know. By talking to him for the couple of minutes the other day when you did that video conference with me, with Uncle Bud, I don't think he hates me. I don't think he hated me. But there had to have been something where he forbid Mom to ever see me again, to forbid Mom to never talk to me again. I mean, the phone communication had to have, where he didn't want her talking to me ever again, had to have come early on in the early 2000s before the official cutoff happened. Because when Tony and I went up to Uncle Tom's, he was living at Dana's house at the time. And I think that was in 2004. Because it could have been 2003, actually. It could have been 2003. 2, 4. I know he was living in Bend in 2002 because Tony and I went up there. And that was after Uncle Tom came. No, that was in 2003, sorry. Uncle Tom came to our house in 2002, right before summer. It was before the heat of the summer hit. He came after winter. He said he would come the first chance he got. And I believe it might have been early June that he came, and he was making his rounds. I think he was going to Missouri, actually. And I know he was going to see Mom. That I know. I know maybe not, because Mom and Uncle Bud were in Palm Springs, and that's when Mom wouldn't let me come and wouldn't tell me. I wasn't allowed to come to Thousand Trails in Palm Springs. And that's when she told me, for reasons you don't know, for reasons I can't tell you, for reasons you won't understand, I can't have you here, is how she put it. And I told you about that. Got into a big old argument with her, and I threw a bloody fit, and that's a story in its own right. So he was going to Palm Springs, and I had made homemade jam, and that's the first time Mom had my jam. I made fig, I made peach, No, I didn't make peach this time, sorry. I had fig, I made cherry, I made strawberry, and I made blueberry, and I made blackberry, I believe. I made 5 different flavors. And I knew Mom's favorite was blueberry, and I sent jars, I think probably 2 jars of each, because I made a bunch, with Mom, to Uncle Tom to give to Mom, and I gave her extra blueberry, because I knew, like I said, I knew it was her favorite. And, so 2002, he came and seen us. 2003, Tony and I, that's when we went to go work for the group home as group home parents. And we went up to Ben, and that's when he lived that little house up there. And then in 2004 is when, he was at Dana's. And that's when we went to work at the, that's when we sold our house, sold everything like Mom and Uncle Bud did, and bought our first RV and hit the road and traveled and worked. But that's when we started seeing Uncle Tom a lot, like 5-6 times a year, and we stay with him for a week at a time. And so he was living at Dana's house then, and it wasn't the first time we went to La Pine when Uncle Tom told me not to call Mom anymore on my own. It was the time after that, because I'd call Mom. I had their number, their cell phone. Uncle Tom gave it to me, and because I wanted it, I asked for it. It's possible that Mom gave it to me too, but I did have that phone number. That I always had their number, and I would call and call, on and off. I would be told when I could call because of, she said that Mom had said that they use that cell phone for emergencies, in case something happened, and there were certain times that they could call. Well, they had T-Mobile, I had thought, if my memory serves correct. Well, at the time, Tony and I had T-Mobile, so I could call Mom whenever I freaking felt like it, because it wasn't going to cost anything, and I told her that. It's mobile to mobile, so I had unlimited access. I could call Mom 20 times a day if I felt like it. And I don't know if Uncle Bud was tired of me calling. I don't know. I just know, like, the second time we went to La Pine at Dana's, Uncle Tom had said that Aunt Marie, he the way they always talk to you, they'd always sit you down and talk to you softly. And he had just come to me and he said, I need to talk to you. Come here. And I went to Uncle Tom. And I was never allowed to sit in the uncle's lap, and there's a reason for that. That's a different story. I said, so many different stories. And so I won't go into that. But Tony was there, and Uncle Tom had me go sit in his lap. And I might have told Mom that, and she didn't like it. And I said, there's a reason why I wasn't allowed. But anyway, and he said, from now on, when you want to talk to Aunt Marie, you do it here. You don't call her on your own. And I said, why not? He said, because she requested that you don't. So whenever you want to, whenever you come here, this is when you talk to her. And I'm like, I've always been able to talk to her whenever I felt like it. And he said, not anymore. I'm like, why? And he goes, well, that's something that you need to ask her. And so fine, get her on the phone. So Uncle Tom got Mom on the phone, and dang it, I'll be glad when these braces come off. I'm glad I have them, but I'll be glad when they come off. Rubber band popped off. And so Uncle Tom gets Mom on the phone, and he said, yes, Tony and Teresa are here. Yes, I told her. And just a minute. It was never long. Here goes the phone to me. And I addressed Mom. Hi, how are you? How's Uncle Bud? How's everybody in the family? And she said, how long are you and Tony going to be there? It was always a week. Tony and I always stayed a week. And Mom said, did Uncle Tom have a talk with you? I said, yes, ma'am. And I said, why can't I talk to you? How come I'm not allowed to call you anymore? And she said, I prefer that when you want to call me, you do it at Uncle Tom's. And I know that there was times that I would call Mom, like when we were up at the lake, and Tony and I would instead of coming down from up in the mountains to Fresno and stay at the Roy and Nancy's house, who we were friends with. They're the ones who owned the resort that we managed. And I'd call Mom. We'd be out on the lake on a pontoon boat, and I'd just call her. And Tony's like, oh, you're calling your little friend, meaning a friend I had in Riverside, or my truck driver friend that was over the road. And she was like a sister to me. And I was friends with her for like 25 years until she died. And I was calling Mom, and Mom always knew when we worked, where we were working, wherever. And Mom said, are you and Tony up at Uncle Tom's? And I'm like, no, ma'am. She says, what were you told? What did I ask you? And I said, you told me I'm not allowed to call you. I said, unless we're up at Uncle Tom's. She said, then what are you calling me for? What's wrong? Is there something wrong? No, ma'am. And I said, well, yes, there is. And she said, what's wrong? And I said, I miss you. I said, and I love you. I called to tell you I love you and I miss you. And I started crying. And she said, well, I love you too. I miss you too. But you know that you're not allowed to call me until you go to Uncle Tom's. And honestly, I never got it. When I said I was slow about getting things, I kid you not, Karen, I'm slow getting things. I don't know why. I mean, I know I'm not mentally retarded or anything like that. I don't pick up on stuff. I just don't, I don't know, comprehend it or something. I don't have that type of understanding because that's not how I am. And I don't understand someone saying, well, no, you can't call me anymore. No, I can't talk to you anymore. No, I can't see you anymore. I don't understand that. Because I just figured, when you're an adult, you can do whatever the bloody heck you want. Well, Mom taught me, no, just because you're an adult doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. It doesn't mean that you can say whatever you want. It doesn't mean you can go wherever you want. It doesn't mean, whatever. And, I know in some regards she's right. And she also told me, you listen to your husband. Yeah, because Teresa didn't the first time, so Teresa did the second time. And, so I never got it. And, she talked to me for a couple of minutes there up at the lake when I was on that pontoon, and I just told her what we were doing, what was going on. And, there was another time I did call her, because I had a question. I had a business question for her. And I know Mom was never technically in business, in business that the normal person would do. Because I still have reservations out on that. And I told you Mom worked for me. She was my desk clerk in San Ysidro. And so I was asking her something about pricing or I don't know. I know it had to do with something I was doing at the resort because me and Tony managed the resort. Tony ran the kitchen, the restaurant, and I ran the cabin rentals. And then I also worked in the restaurant because I wasn't up the cabins all the time. I did the cabin, whatever duties, and then did the reservations as I came in. But most of the time I was down at the restaurant, except if I was needed up at the cabins. It just kind of like worked that way. And I was talking to Mom about some stuff that had to do with that. And then RV questions. I was asking her about the RV. And honestly, I think she knew that I just called just to make something up so I could talk to her. And but So, you know, I never, I'm not gonna say I never, well, I guess, I don't know. Because around the family, if my uncles knew, well, they did know that I was adopted, how come I couldn't call you mama in front of everybody? And when I said in the second video that I couldn't, you know why, she had said on when the family comes, and I said, what's wrong with saying that in front of my aunts and uncles? I said, they're not going to care. She meant the other side of the family. She did not want, meaning Rose side of the family, because they all got together. They, Nana, Rose's mother, and her later on husband, Blackie, they all came. Friends of that were Rose and your Uncle Ollie's from years ago would come. The families mixed and intermingled with each other, and I think that's one thing why Mom wouldn't let me call her mama in front of anybody openly, because of that. And I had brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, and so people wouldn't say like, oh, why is Teresa calling Aunt Marie mama? My smart mouth would have said, none of your damn business, that's why. And then I would have got slapped, or I would have got spanked later. One of the two would have happened, or they both would have happened, but something would have happened. And so in order for no one saying anything, Mom wouldn't let me call her mama in front of anybody. If it was like Uncle Tom and Aunt Rose, yeah, she didn't have a problem with that. And obviously when I was in the apartment with your Uncle Ollie and Grandma and Mom, she didn't have a problem with that either, and Dee was in there. But openly, in a group, in front of everybody, no, I wasn't allowed to. And I didn't think it was fair at all. It wasn't fair to me. And I had told Mom later on that day, it's not, well, I mean, I told her when I was crying, because I shortened that story, because they're all long stories. I said, it's not fair. It's not fair at all. It's not fair to me. I want to call you Mama. That's who you are. I don't want to call you Aunt Marie anymore. I didn't want to call Mom Aunt Marie anymore. And your Uncle Ollie came and sat next to Mom, and because she had me in her arms, I was bawling like a baby. And she was stroking my hair, and I indicated she was the only one that was allowed to touch my hair. And your uncle put his hand on my chest. I mean, not chest, excuse me, on my back. And was patting it, and Mom had told your uncle, I knew one day this would happen. Well, that was the day. I was just so upset. And anyway, and at Grandma's funeral, not at her funeral, after the funeral, when we were at Noreen's house, outside the car, I had got out, Aunt Faye got out, we were in the back seat. Your dad drove, Mom was in the front seat. And when I got out of the car, your dad said something to me, and he goes, I told you this was going to end. And I had thought everything was resolved, actually. I thought Mom took care of it. When Uncle Bud told me at your uncle's funeral 3 months prior that I'm going to put a stop to this. You two are too close. You're not with me how you are with everyone else. And I told him, I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean. I don't understand what you're talking about, because I didn't understand it at all, what he meant. And he goes, you're not with me the way you are with everybody else, with the other uncles. And I told Uncle Bud, I said, I love you. I love you like I love them. I love everybody. I don't know what you mean. And that's when he said, I'm putting a stop to it. He goes, I'm putting a stop to this relationship. He goes, the two of you are too close and it's unnatural. I honestly didn't know what he meant, but I didn't understand what he meant. I understood that he said, the two of you are too close and I'm putting an end to it. That hit home to my heart. And when I went and told Mom, well, I didn't go and told Mom. She took me to the RV because I was crying. I told her I wasn't allowed to tell her because your dad told me, don't you dare go back and tell Aunt Marie what I just got done saying to you. Like, that was not going to happen. And he should have known better that she would have found out. I would have told her because I told her everything. It didn't matter who said what to me. I told Mom everything. And when she took me out to the RV, and she told me, she goes, you tell me what's wrong. Who said what to you? And when I told her, Mom's jaw dropped. Like, she was in a state of shock. And she said, Uncle Bud said that to you? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, I swear to you. I said, he said that to me. Those exact words he said to me. I said, I don't understand. I said, what does he mean? And I was bawling. And I grabbed a hold of her and she hugged me and I was just bawling. And Mom said, and she pulled me away from her and she said, don't concern yourself with that. You have no concern with that. I won't let that happen. And that night, I stayed the night with them in the RV, and before Mom laid me down. Well, she laid me down to bed, and then I sat up and I grabbed a hold of her and I started crying again. That whole entire day was horrible. And Mom said, she goes, you've been through enough already today. She goes, you need to lay down and go to sleep. And I said, what about? And she goes, I told you I will take care of it. And I said, you promise? And Mom didn't make promises that she couldn't keep. Mom hardly ever made a promise. And in fact, I think she promised me maybe one time, one thing ever. I don't remember what that is because she didn't make promises. But if she made a promise to me, I believe she made one promise to me. And she said, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. So I didn't think I had anything to worry about for the next 3 months until that day. And Mom, and Uncle Bud were outside their car before me and Mom went to the RV. And they were cross-talking. They were arguing back and forth. And when I say cross-talking, they were saying they knew exactly what they were talking about without letting me know what they were talking about. So they were crossing words. And Mom was pissed. She was livid. Your dad was mad too. And then that got me mad because then I knew, and he just kept looking at me. And he didn't look at me nicely. And he didn't yell at me or anything like that. But he did look at me and he goes, I told you. And I said, I remember telling him that I'm her daughter too. You know it. My uncles know it. Everybody apparently knows it. Everybody has always known it. And I said, I don't understand what the problem is. You know, and I was arguing with your dad. Now, I told you I had contacted a psychic last year. The first time I contacted her, without her knowing, and I also actually think she pulled information off the obituary. I really do. But how would anybody have known that? I never talked about it. I never even mentioned it. I did videos about it, but that person didn't even watch them. She didn't even know I had a YouTube channel. And I have those locked. Nobody can access them except me. How would she have known that I had an argument with Uncle Bud? She wouldn't have. But I did. And Mom looked at me and she said, don't you dare open your mouth and say another word. And Mom said something to Uncle Bud, and so I wouldn't hear what the heck was going on. Mom took her fingers, either thumbs or fingers, and she went like this to my ears, like this. And she pushed in kind of hard. and then she, however she did it like this, something. She did it how she pushed my ears, this part of my ear in, right here. Pushed them in, and she covered her, put her hands over my ears and put me towards her chest, and held me there. And they were arguing. And when she pulled me, I don't remember if it was before or after, when Mom said to Uncle Bud, "You better come up with more than just that to hold over my head in order for that to occur." And I think she said that before she did the thing with my ears, and held her hands over my ears so I couldn't hear what the frick they were saying. Because she wasn't happy. And she had said to Uncle Bud, you know, she called him a cold-hearted man. Then her and I went to the RV, but she was done talking. I forget why I even said that. Dang it. But I paused my phone for a second because I was trying to remember why I was going into all that. I don't remember now. But for Rita to tell Pam that I'm lying, I'm making the whole entire thing up, that's why I decided to do these videos for you. I know you believe me. I do. I do know you believe me. There's no way I can make that up. Anything that I've actually ever talked about, there's no way I could make that up. It's so vivid inside my head. And I've told these stories over and over and over, especially the one about my adoption, so many times, and I don't change from it. There is more to those conversations, but that's basically what I told you is what happened, and how I asked Mom and stuff like that. I mean, there was a lot more conversation that took place. I don't remember the whole conversation. I don't. I do believe, well, I think Mom kept those papers, and Rose seems to think that maybe Mom got rid of those papers. I said she would not have gotten rid of those papers. I mean, I don't think she would have. I mean, maybe. I mean, I knew that, like, the last time I talked to Mom in 2011, she still had all the cards and letters I ever sent her or gave to her. Because I did give her letters and cards when I saw her in person, and I also gave then the ones I mailed to her. I'd write her little stories. I made Mom a birth certificate because there was not going to be no birth certificate. So I made her one when I was there at the Motel 6. And she said that she would put that in the rest of the stuff of mine, meaning like the cards and the letters. She had a box that she stuck that stuff in. And the one psychic had told me, because I know you don't believe in that, I should never have done it. I know I should never have done it, but I was at a loss. I didn't know what to do. But they're in a box. I had, 3 or 4 of them tell me that it's in a box. And that's confirmed because I know everything was in a box. Mom kept that stuff with her. I know she kept it within the RV when in 2011, wherever it is that they lived then, when I called and talked to her for the last time, the stuff was in a box. And so were all my pictures. And she has pictures. And she has pictures from that birthday. When she turned 60 and your Uncle Aldi turned 55. All that stuff is together. The pictures from Motel 6, the pictures that I snuck taking, that Mom took my film. So they're all probably together. That's probably where my adoption papers are. That's what I was told by them psychics. The papers are inside of a box, and with my cards and letters and everything. Like you said, probably somewhere in Rita's basement. I don't know, wherever she put Mom's stuff out of the RV or apartment, whatever. I would go as far as saying that I don't know what year Mom lived inside that apartment at Holiday Retirement. Obviously, I don't know. I know they were going to go live at one, but I don't know where, So, wherever Rita put all that stuff, that's probably where it's at. She probably didn't even go through it, but then again, Rose kinds of think that she probably did. And if Mom didn't mark the back of the pictures, Rita wouldn't probably even know who those people were. She'd probably like, oh, who is this? I don't know who these people are. Somebody, maybe Mom knew. Mom knew, and maybe from Thousand Trails and threw them away. I mean, she didn't know everybody very well. What did she even know what Uncle Ollie looked like? He looked like Luigi. My brother Mike said, I go, do you remember Ollie? And he goes, yeah. He goes, he looked like Luigi from Mario Brothers. And I'm like, yeah, that's the guy. And Rita was never around. I mean, how do you even know what my uncles even look like? I'm just saying, So if she saw these pictures and pictures of me and Tony, she wouldn't even have remembered what me and Tony looked like at all. I doubt. I showed her pictures on what me and Tony looked like when I was first in contact with her, and I said, "Here's a picture of me and Tony." I would send different pictures to her, like I did you, and stuff, and tell you who is who, and So I don't know. Rose seems to think that she threw him away, and she probably went through all of Mom and Uncle Bud's stuff that came out of the RV and out of the apartment. I'm like, how am I supposed to know? I don't know. I'm never gonna see it. That's all I know. I'm never gonna see any of them ever again. I haven't all this time, so it would just be nice to actually have it and read back what the stuff that I said. And but then again, if she went through all that stuff and found the cards and the letters, it would say my name to it. I mean, the address, my name is on every single one of those envelopes, Teresa Waltman, and whatever address I used. I would always sign it, Love, Teresa. I put niece, friend, daughter on a couple of letters. I wrote Mom long letters on like her Mother's Day card. I addressed her Mama. It wasn't Aunt Marie. It was Mama. It was addressed to Mama. Love your daughter. Or I'd put your third daughter, or your third and your last was a saying that I would have, because Mom referred to me as her third and her last. But I don't know. I wanted you to know the story. I wanted you to hear it from me. And how she could say I'm lying, whatever. She can say I'm lying all she wants. But I'm not lying. I wouldn't be going through so much trouble if it wasn't true. I wouldn't have said anything about it to anybody if it wasn't true. I've told Tony, everybody out here, meaning like family out here that, I'm in contact with. I even told my brother Mike. My brother Mike's cool with it. We just can't let, his brother Steve, our brother Steve. I don't have anything against Steve. Steve know, because, and his wife, my sister-in-law, because they're a big blabbermouth and they'll go back to Lynn, and I don't need that. My birth father does know. Ray knows. Him I told. But he saw it on Ancestry, because he does genealogy. And he saw it on there. And I told him about it. I think I told you that he didn't have anything bad to say about it, really. He just said, "Hey, that's you. I guess you had your own reasons." Yes, I do. I have my own reasons. So Daryl knows, obviously, all the cousins know that I'm in contact with, and the ones that I'm not in contact with, because guess who told them? Rita. Rita told Pam. Rita told Vicky Waltman, who is Grandpa Emmett's niece, great niece, actually, from his brother, not Coy, that was Aunt Noreen's husband, Eugene, Grandpa's brother, Eugene. That's where Vicky Waltman comes from, because Eugene had a son, and that son had Vicky Waltman, is the daughter. So that's where she comes into play. She grew up in California, in Moreno Valley, so she says, and she lives in Missouri. I forget where. Don't matter. And so they all know. And so pretty much, I'm not going to say all the cousins know, because all the cousins, I don't think they know, because the brothers and sisters, they don't talk to each other. That's just so weird to me. I was like, what the heck? Like, you and Rita don't talk to each other. You got to stand each other. Obvious reasons. Daryl doesn't like Pam, Cheryl, or Richard. They don't like each other. Wade, he knows. But Wade doesn't he talks to Vicky, but not that often. And so Vicky knows, Wade knows, Dawn, I don't think knows, and Rolinda, I don't think knows, and 4, 5, 6, I think that's it. So 2 know, 2 don't know, but none of them all talk to each other. Weird. And then Uncle Tom's kids, Howard knows, Richard knows, Sandy knows, and their brother Bob doesn't know, and I'm not in contact with him, and they all don't talk to each other. Howard and Sandy talk back and forth, but that's about it. So it's weird that none of them all get along with each other. But anyway, I kind of just wanted to sum that up. I was actually going to tell you something else, and I really actually don't even remember what it is now. But thank you for being my sister. I'm very glad for that. I really am. And I'm looking forward to meeting you. And we need to do a video chat again.